I guess the major benefit's the long-term compounding growth, the long-term growth that you get. For most people, if they're working now, chances are a lot of them have had superannuation for most of their working life. And the little bit extra that you put on, might pay for some of the nicer things when you retire, the cruises or the holidays. The earlier that you start doing that, the greater hope that you have of having a bigger balance at the end, really is. That's probably the simplest way to think about it. The other major benefit is that it's a very, very low tax environment. So you get some concessions for putting money in. You pay a whole lot less tax potentially investing through superannuation than you do in your own name or some other structure. The government wants you to provide for your own retirements, and so they do that by providing the tax breaks. The biggest thing that you need to be aware of if you're putting money into super is that there's potentially a long time until you can access that. Depending on when you're born, it'll be some point between 55 and 60 when you can access it. So you need to weigh up, I guess, all of the tax breaks and the potential returns and the compounding and all of those kind of things versus is there some other need that you have for this money now? So it might be paying off a mortgage, or you have aspirations of buying a bigger house, and maybe that's a more pressing need now than looking 20 or 30 years into the future into your retirement. So you need to weigh up the longer term benefits with what are you actually trying to achieve now. A few clients, once they're getting into their mid-30s and beyond, they're starting to earn a pretty reasonable income, and the annual limits of putting money into superannuation aren't that high. They used to be much higher in the past. There's an annual cap of $25,000 a year. So if you're getting people that are starting to earn, six-figure salaries, $100,000, $200,000 a year, it's not much of a stretch to put money into super. And there's a sweet spot of people where there's actually a huge tax saving to be made by putting money into super versus not. The way the tax system works, you don't actually end up really feeling that in your after-tax pay. That you might be putting $500 a month into super, but really it's only $200 or $300 in your pay that you see. There's a massive benefit for that later down the track. So a lot of people don't really feel it now. Certainly you go forward a couple of months, you get used to a couple of $100 less there. The compounding effect of that over time is massive. Make sure the super fund that you are using is right for you. Most people have this thing called choice of fund, so you can actually pick and choose where your super goes for most employers. There's a whole lot of lost super out there, something like $14 billion in lost superannuation out there. Some of it ends up in government coffers, and so there are ways of tracking that down. I'd encourage you, if you've had a number of part-time jobs in the past, track it down. The other thing is this whole consolidation of super. So a lot of people that we come across when they come into the office, they have multiple super funds, and there may be a tendency to rush off and consolidate them down. The thing that you need to be aware of if you are doing that, though, is that any life insurance benefits that you may have in your individual super funds will all be cancelled. So you kind of need to address your insurance needs before you then consolidate your superannuation down. Because the sooner you start, the better. So this superannuation is a long-term investment solution for people, and seek advice. If you're struggling, if you're stuck, Google will only get you so far. Reach out and get some appropriate advice.